Now for our feature story of the day. Samson Mow of Jan 3 was recently interviewed, and he doubled down on his prediction that the Bitcoin price, will hit $1 million within the next 12 months, and he breaks down why he believes that is to happen. So let's break this baby down. Let's start with some new tweets, and then we'll dive into the stories in which were published on the back of that. But this is coming from this particular interview right here. If you haven't watched it, be sure to check it out. There's a clip, Bitcoin to $1 million sooner than you think, and in which he breaks down why he is so confident that that will happen. A $1 million Bitcoin price within the next 12 months, which means sometime in 2025 for the cycle peak. But let's dive and start with his actual tweet he wrote. Someone was criticizing me on Nostr, and Nostr is ultimately the decentralized version of X. Probably on my fast $1 million prediction. I wonder what they think a ridiculous dollar price is. Exactly. Let's assume Bitcoin did go to $1 million. Interest payments on the U.S. debt will reach $1 trillion next year. That's 1 million BTC if BTC was at 1 million, which is 4.76% of the supply. Debt is 35 trillion, and unfunded liabilities is 218 trillion. That's a total of 253 million BTC if BTC was at $1 million. 12x the total supply of Bitcoin. Inflation is probably at 10% to 150% in real terms. And amen to that, because we all know they don't have inflation under control. We all know inflation isn't under 3% and that they lie to us, so respect. Now, all of these numbers are already ridiculous when priced in Bitcoin at $1 million. Do people really think that the broken fiat system will be plodding along forever? It seems more likely we see a break and Bitcoin goes up very rapidly in a short time frame. I agree with that as well. There is no such thing as ridiculous fiat price of Bitcoin. What is ridiculous is that Bitcoin still even has a fiat price, and that will end sooner rather than later. Very powerful words. And so he was responding to this comment. But you, on the other hand, again and again, are promoting insane high preference thinking when procrastinating ridiculous dollar prices in a very short time perspective. You may be directionally correct, but you have hurt your credibility a lot the last couple of years. So I obviously disagree with that FUD. I mean, I get the same ish thrown at me. JV, every episode has a prediction. Bitcoin going 100,000. We never even hit 80,000, you idiot. How dare you? Prediction means future, idiots. Just got to keep it 100. But anyways, I digress. So he also wrote here, any price under 0.1 mil, which is 100,000, is still a Bitcoin on sale. I agree with that. He gets a repost from me 100%. And again, if you want to watch this interview, this is a clip of him making that prediction of why he believes Bitcoin hits $1 million within the next 12 months. But it's also, we'll talk about it further on these particular articles. This article says Bitcoin developer Samson Mow says Bitcoin will rise to 1 million and when. And then this one, Bitcoin Maxi CEO expects 0.01 million as a threshold for the Bitcoin sale. So, and I think they mean obviously 0.1 million, which would be 100,000. Sometimes a lot of these article sources make errors in which I correct in the flesh real time as I'm reading them out. If you haven't figured it out, now you know. Anyways, according to Samson, Bitcoin is at its sale moment. Telling people that the price below 100,000 are what the smart investors want. Agreed. He quoted any price below 100,000 is still a Bitcoin on sale, insinuating that when Bitcoin reaches this price, the sale will then come to the end. On August 23rd, we saw one of the largest price surges as it gained over 6% from 60,700 to almost touching 65. It followed after a comment by Fed Chairman Jay Powell on interest rate cuts, most of which investors were taking as positive signs for the crypto market. And amidst the price fluctuations, Bitcoin retested 64, which we're currently still sitting above, which is pretty nice, and it's radically going up. This did not only push Bitcoin, but also the alts up, whose prices leaped up too. Mow's predictions are pegged to the recent structural changes in the Bitcoin market. He points to the approval of the Bitcoin ETFs, which have aggressively been accumulating liquidity since January 11th. Now, these ETFs are said to be purchasing thousands of Bitcoins daily, thus creating a huge demand shock. In fact, BlackRock's already done over 20 billion in volume since January 11th. And according to Samson, this coupled with the supply shock that resulted from the recent halving event, which brought a drop in the Bitcoin block reward, will make for a perfect mix to catalyze a dramatic price increase. Now let's dive deeper into the milli price prediction. Mow is rather vocal about his long-term price projections. He claims that the Biddy may see 1 million within 1 year, if not sooner. His reasoning is that the current market dynamics favor such a rise, with huge demand for Bitcoin against a dwindling supply. He expresses that confidence because he believes the market will absorb all the sales of Bitcoin no matter the fluctuation. He places special emphasis on the fact investors who understand money live in inflationary environments or come from oppressive regimes are likely to see Bitcoin as a safe haven asset. And that's right, Bitcoin's going where no man has gone before, to the moon. Now, in relation to this, the discussion of the Bitcoin price is not just a clear-cut case of speculation. It relates directly to general economic conditions, macroeconomic factors, etc. Comments have come at a time when many were already eyeing alternative investment vehicles due to the rising inflation and general economic uncertainty. Now, basically, he mentioned that the unique properties of the Bitcoin is set as a preferred choice for those seeking to protect wealth from losses. Amen to that. Now, there's also the Veblen effect and the psychology of the market. Let's break it down. One of the more intriguing aspects of Mow's analysis was his reference to what is called the Veblen effect, where consumers tend to keep buying a product even as it gets more expensive, partly because of its perceived value. Mow pointed out that this is going to be huge in the case of Bitcoin. As the price of Bitcoin increases, so are more and more investors who can potentially be attracted to the digital asset, not only by return, but it can also give by the value it holds. There are psychological drivers that might fuel demand even further, giving rise to the self-reinforcing cycle of investment. So there you have it. Now, Samson Mow, very bold projection, but he makes very valid points, and he's just not saying that, in my opinion, for attention or clicks. He says it because he believes it. He understands Bitcoin, unlike most people, really don't understand it. So he can see it happening. A lot of people are not visionaries. They can only see what has already happened in the past. And those is why we have trolls that say, Bitcoin's never even going to 100,000. It never even broke 80. But they don't understand. We're looking into the future, right? From 50,000, do you know 1 million is only a 20x? Do you know how easily Bitcoin can 20x, considering it's up like 70 million%-ish from its inception? 70 million-ish percent. So to question Bitcoin going up 20x is pure ignorance, in my humble opinion. But let me know your 2 Satoshis. Let me know your thoughts regarding Samson Mow projecting $1 million Bitcoin price within the next 12 months. Do you see it? What's the probability? What are the chances of it happening? In your humble opinion, keeping it 100. Let me know. Can you see 10% chance of that happening? 50% chance? 90% chance? 5% chance? 1% chance? Let me know, and I'll dare throw a projection out there.